Right, our top story, of course, coming in from the Supreme Court, which has taken up the matter of the Kolkata rape and murder case, and a number of important highlights have come out from the Supreme Court hearing today. If I can just begin by saying that the Supreme Court actually has set up a national task force in order to look after hospital safety, in order to upgrade hospital safety. While hearing the case, the Supreme Court in fact said that they can't wait for another rape to take place in order to change the ground reality. In fact, those pointers, highlights of the Supreme Court, what it said is flashing on your screens right now, where the CJI also mentioned that doctor safety is a matter of national interest and that there's been a systemic failure in hospitals across the country. So, the Supreme Court has set up this national task force, which consists of eminent doctors. At the same time, commenting on the investigations which are currently taking place, the Supreme Court has also asked the CBI to file a status report by Thursday. And at the same time, of course, very importantly, the Supreme Court has grilled the Bengal government, asking multiple questions on why the FIR was not filed promptly by the hospital authorities. Why was there so much time taken in order to file the FIRs, file the cases, as well as commenting on the fact that the Bengal government failed to protect the crime scene, pointing out the vandalism, the incident of vandalism which took place on the intervening night of August 14th and 15th at the RG Kaur hospital. Let's first listen into some of the top comments by the Chief Justice of India while hearing this case. So, the Chief Justice of India there, of course, pointing out multiple factors related to this case, highlighting how there seems to be a major crisis of safety as far as hospitals are concerned, as far as doctors and nurses' safety at hospitals is concerned, and that there's been a systemic failure in hospitals across the country, and also mentioning that this issue is not just limited to Kolkata, but how medical professionals are vulnerable to violence inside hospitals, and that women at particular are in risk of sexual violence. While hearing the case, the Supreme Court also commented on the fact that the Bengal government seems to have been wanting in terms of the fact that there was a delay in filing the FIR, as has been alleged by the victim's family. Right, so what you can see is, of course, there are doctors, protesting doctors in Kolkata, who are also watching the proceedings at the Supreme Court. On your screens there, while we are flashing the important highlights from the Supreme Court, you can see those doctors there in Kolkata who are protesting at RG Kaur hospital, also viewing the live proceedings from the Supreme Court. A very important hearing there taking place at the top court. If I can also point out some of the aspects which the Supreme Court has said that the national task force which it has set up is going to look into several things that were highlighted by the Supreme Court, especially with regard to CCTV at exit and entry points, with regard to the fact that there should be restriction or the access at certain points of the hospital should in fact be restricted. Also, let's talk about what the Supreme Court in fact commented on the Bengal government. As I mentioned, the Supreme Court asked the Bengal government why was it that nobody in the hospital registered an FIR promptly, and why was there a delay in FIR, and that the power of the state should not be unleashed on protesters. That there are people, doctors who are peacefully protesting. Why is it that the Bengal government is focusing on curbing that? And also, the Supreme Court said that it's unable to comprehend why the state could not protect the crime scene, referring to the incident of vandalism which took place at that particular night of intervening night of August 14th and 15th at the RG Kaur hospital. Let me go across to my colleague Saurabh, who is joining us for at the moment. Saurabh, we have seen that several important observations have come out from the Supreme Court. Of course, the order on setting up the National Task Force for Safety when it comes to hospital security. But also, if I can just begin by asking you about all the important aspects raised by the Supreme Court as far as the way accountability of the Bengal government is concerned and the manner in which the Kolkata police and the Bengal government handled this case. Some of these allegations have been reported by us as well. But take us through some of the highlights which have come in from the Supreme Court on that aspect of what the top court asked of the Bengal government.
Well, there are a couple of very key observations or key questions that the Supreme Court asked, and one is regarding the responsibility of the hospital authorities. Why didn't they register a complaint? What took them so long? The incident took place early in the morning. The parents arrived, post-mortem, all of that got done. Procedurally, what was to be done? But the FIR was registered late at night. So the Supreme Court was keen to understand why this delay. What transpired in these, 12, 13 hours that it took almost till 11 in the night. And this is something that now we are, of course, have been asking. In fact, this came up in the Calcutta High Court as well. The police say they registered a nudity case in the absence of a complaint, carried out the investigation. But again, the question is that, the not registering the FIR immediately is something that has been used also to raise suspicion, and that is something that has happened. So obviously the Supreme Court has asked some very valid questions, and also about the role of the principal, and that is something that clearly, again, it came up in the Calcutta High Court as well. I think I also heard something about the CISF now defending RG Kaur. Just one technical issue, that is, of course, the crime scene is intact, the hospital was vandalized, but back to you for more that's coming in at this point.
Right.